Hi, it's Odeean here. Today I've got the rest of the Coneheads from Raptor Squadron, Igear's Raptor Squadron. Starting off with Dirge. Dirge's colour is definitely easier for my camera to pick up. I did my previous video with Thrust. I did love Thrust. I thought he was the best, but his colour on camera is just really hard for the camera to see. But in person it's fantastic. But at least with this Dirge you can actually see what I'm trying to show. He looks pretty nice. So the colour is maybe a little bit, it's a little bit off for compared to my G1 Dirge, and the wings are more of a gold than a brown, but you can easily tell who it's supposed to be. Just like with Thrust, I've got a bit of a warpage issue in some places, so you can see that this panel isn't, I could get a bit closer, you can see the panel isn't contacting the body. Now if I try to push that in to make it contact, you can see that it's going to split this part down here. So if I hold them both down, you can see a split forming here. So there's some issues with these on how straight panels have turned out, and although it's only minor, it is a bit of an annoyance. And the figures, they're not cheap. They work out at about $100 each, and I think at $100 a piece, I would have expected that to have been dealt with before it got to my hands. My previous video showed some pretty serious warpage on this, and it would never tab in. Now, I hope that's coming through here. You can see that is tabbed in. That's relatively securely tabbed in on Dirge, and it also tabs in on my Ramjet. So it seems like that's not as widespread as I had feared. When I get the other three, the Seekers, I'm going to see if any of them have the issue as well, but at the moment it's just isolated to my Thrust. Here's everything that Dirge comes with. He's got his alternate face, which is pretty good. I like it. We've got these missiles, or sort of, I mean, they definitely do look like missiles, so I'm going to stick with that. These are almost the same as Ramjet's ones, except I think Dirge's ones has got these little fins in the front, whereas Ramjet's ones are just smooth, and the standard kind of bomb that comes with all the Coneheads. I'm not going to transform these guys on camera because I did do that with Thrust, and they're pretty much the same, like virtually the same, except they don't have this folding wing gimmick. But I just wanted basically to show these, to show that they're very nice looking. The best view is kind of downwards, because if you look at it from the side, they still have a bit of that upwards pointing nose that I'm not 100% happy with, but as long as you look at it from kind of angle, they look pretty damn good. And you know, I'm maybe 90% happy with how they look, so I am glad that I've got them. Here's a look at the Ramjet, and again I'm having trouble with this showing up. Just such high contrast between the dark, it's maroon, this maroon colour, and the white. It's hard to get it in my setup at least so that you can see both at the same time. It's pretty nice. In person it looks better than it does on camera, which is a kind of theme that I'm saying for these guys colouring, but it's just, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm doing this with my phone instead of a real camera, but it's just hard to get it to show. I like the design of these jets here. I mean, it looks who it's supposed to look like. Immediately upon looking at this, you can tell that it's Ramjet, and that's pretty cool. And again, no issues with the tabbing in of this bit underneath. It's nice and secure. And again, a little bit of flex in here. Let's squeeze that in. You know what? Maybe it's the best so far. I've almost got that in straight. Okay, let's get these guys into robot mode so you can see how they look. Oh, wait a minute. Now we've come out. Look, I push that in and they do stay. Like, I can hold it by that, so it's not too bad. Let's get them to robot mode and have a look. Sticking with Ramjet, he's very nice. His face doesn't have that much contrast compared to the rest of his head, so it can be a bit hard to see that it's actually silver, depending on how you get the light to pick up. But the red eyes really sort of shine through if you've got enough light there, so the red eyes make it pretty cool. These chest pieces, in robot mode, it seems that there's more of an issue. So you can see that that's, if I focus on it, it's having a little bit of trouble staying tabbed in. Now, not as bad as thrust, but it's not really doing what it's meant to do. So I think it's poor design. It's not really QC. It's just that this piece here is not designed well. He's highly posable. The thighs, again, I mentioned before, but the thighs are particularly nice. And it's got a nice double jointed knee, and it's nice and thick here. And just something I'm not used to with my Seekers is having a kind of cool comic book style thigh, which I'm really happy with that. Little guards at the side of the hips here. Nice double jointed elbow. Everything's really good. The rockets on the sides of his arms look fantastic. Even paint detail on them. The one thing that's a bit off is how big the wings stick out at the back of the lower leg. But, you know, it's on character. I got no criticism of that really, because that's how it's meant to be. I think in the animation, these shrunk down magically a little bit. That's why they weren't so dramatic. I mean, if you like, you can have them sticking out like this. And, you know, I think I actually do prefer them sticking out. It's just that it takes a little bit more shelf space. So I'm going to probably end up with them angled back like that too. And here's Dirge in his robot mode, and he looks amazing. So I'm even starting to have second thoughts whether I like this Dirge better than the thrust. I think the colours are really working. It's probably because I'm looking through the camera, but you know, maybe Thundercracker will change my mind because he's another blue guy, so it'll be kind of doubled up. But yeah, that looks really good. Look how the eyes are really popping there. Thank goodness that they've gone with painted eyes. I'm so sick of light piping. I just don't like it. And Igear have given us a good shiny red paint on these eyes. Couldn't have asked for anything better. The posability is so fantastic. You can just get all kinds of emoting happening with his poses. And, you know, I'm just so happy with these. Like, the Jets are such huge characters in Transformers fiction, and to not have a whole bunch of them that look right has been kind of a thorn in the side of my collection for a long time. And then now to pick up all these guys, my shelf can look very complete. All the characters that I like can actually be there at the same time. I'm really happy. Again, something that is not as fantastic as I would have liked is that the underside of his wing is blue. I would have liked it to carry through this gold paint the whole way, and if there's any problem with Dirge that I've got, it's the lack of gold. That missing paint app kind of gets really emphasized when you see that this part transforms with the gold showing, like it's on the outside, but this down here, it just disappears, and it makes the whole leg look like a kind of cheaper toy. I wish they had done something about that. When you have them all lined up, poor Ramjet there, he starts to look like he's not finished. Now, the character is meant to be that colour, so it's no fault of Igear's for kind of sticking to it, but I'm just thinking, is there anything they could have done to make him look a little bit more like a completed product? I mean, they've gone with set paint apps that match all of the, like each toy has paint in the same places, so I guess to do extra paint on him would have been a whole extra tooling just for the one character, and maybe the point of doing 6 at once is to cut down on costs like that, but something about him looks a little bit off. I'm thinking maybe this intake detail on the fake chest here, if it was a bit brighter, it would look something special, or maybe if the face was a little bit darker, because I know the other guys, like if you look at Dirge here, his face is darker. Maybe a darker face on the Ramjet would have been more suitable. I feel like what Igear have done, releasing all of the 6 jets simultaneously, is really smart. I know that from my own personal point of view, if I had to buy these one by one by one, $100 a pop each time, I probably would have got tired of it somewhere along the line, and something newer and more shiny would have grabbed my attention, and I wouldn't have ended up getting all 6. And I really love having all of them, which is kind of the point of the jets, so I think that they did the right thing. Now, they're not the first company to try and do that. I remember Impossible Toys just recently had so many variants of their Tetrajets that they were trying to sell. I wasn't really sold on the look of those Tetrajets, so I haven't bought any of them, but the idea was floating around there, so I guess it's not exactly Igear's idea, but still, it's worked nonetheless. I'm still open-minded to getting some different styles of jets. I mean, I've still got that itch that's never been scratched of F-15 Eagle-based seekers at a Voyager size. So if some company out there went ahead and did something like this, except in that F-15 Eagle jet, I still might be hooked into buying more jets. But at the moment, I'm kind of sated and really, really happy with these. I will do a video review, just a quick show off of the other three when they finally get here. But I don't know exactly when that's going to be because they're in a pile and I'm just waiting for that Kronos to come before I ship it. This has been the Igear Coneheads. I'm odeean. Thank you for watching.